Hello guys, welcome back to a brand new video. In today's video, I'm gonna show you how to do mid to B executions on Dust 2 as a T in CS2. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. By the way, we are doing free giveaways every month. In these giveaways, you can win various CS2 skins and free CS2 course access passes created by a Faceit level 10 coach who has experience in high tier CS2 teams. To sign up, simply visit the CS2 polls giveaway page and follow the instructions. Link is in the description. And without further ado, let's get straight into it. So firstly, let's talk about spawns. Ideally, in a mid to B split, 2 of the players need to go towards mid while 3 of them split towards tunnel. So the 3 players who are going towards B side are just simply running through the T ramp. They jump down, run as so. As long as they position themselves towards this corner, it doesn't matter where they go, it just matters that they get there as quickly as possible. Then, once they go here, they split up into 2 parts. One of the players needs to position themselves in this area, or rather in this corner, depending on how they want to do it. However, in my opinion, moving to this left side is way better because this is a less expected angle from CTs if they decide to push tunnel. That way, you can just simply hold tunnel and you don't need to peek at all, because if you peek, you might get caught or spotted by enemies and they might call that someone is B and they might expect a B execute. That's why I suggest simply staying in this corner and just doing nothing, waiting for your teammates until they do the job. The second part of players who are going towards B side are the ones who are gonna go lower tunnel. These players need to quickly check this area before they shift towards lower tunnel stairs. Then as they go, they just quickly clear these corners, then they clear this box, and then they focus towards catwalk. Then they're gonna go towards Xbox and then prepare for the mid to B execute. So the B players split up like so. One of them stands in tunnel, while the other 2 just slightly shift towards Xbox or double doors. The other 2 players who have more of a long spawn than the guys who have the B spawn are gonna go towards top middle. They're just gonna run through quickly. They can even throw some fake flashes towards long to fake out the enemies. Then they can quickly run towards top middle. Make sure to clear this area if you're not smoking it. However, in my opinion, it's really good if you do smoke double doors, because it's a very simple lineup for players who have the long spawn. They just quickly run up this side and they see this line on the barrier made of brick, and then they aim at this dot and jump throw. This smoke perfectly lands towards double doors and covers double doors fully, so you don't have to worry when you peek out top middle like so. Then they can quickly focus towards short, and then they can quickly clear the entire area here as they run, and then they together group up in this area close to Xbox. By this time, your teammates who are shifting through lower tunnel should meet up with you at the same time. If you want to help out your teammates who are going lower tunnel, the long spawn players can also throw this quick smoke by standing close to the left side of this wall. You don't have to stand directly against it, because when you throw you might hit the wall. That's why you move slightly to the right, so you have this amount of wall sticking out, and then you look in the middle of this window and move slightly towards the left. You don't have to do it much, you just aim a bit more to the left and then you jump throw. This smoke ideally lands on top of Xbox, and then it blocks out the vision for short CTs who are holding lower tunnel. That's why when the shifting Ts peek out through lower tunnel, they are not paranoid by this angle. Then they can easily and safely shift, clear this corner as well, and then clear double doors if their teammates didn't clear it because of the smoke. And then you can just simply position yourselves in this corner. The other teammate can rather stand close, or he can also position more to the left. However, make sure to not peek this angle if you are with an AK, which is most likely since you are a lower tunnel player, since all of these players usually need to have AKs in order to have the best round to win in a mid to B execute. Because in a mid to B execute, you don't have a lot of long range duels except for this one maybe, and the duel in window. However, if you have AKs, there's definitely not going to be a huge issue, because AKs are in generally more better in a mid to B push on Dust 2. After you all gather up, then you need to smoke CT. So the best way to do that is for one player to throw a second smoke for the other teammate, because he's gonna have to throw 2 ideal smokes to cover CT side fully. One of the lineups is this one. You just stand in this corner, and while you're standing, you crouch and then look at the small wooden plank against the Xbox, and then you look at its right nail and move more to the right until you line it up with the shadow, and then you just simply jump throw. This smoke lands on top of this box in CT, and it covers this side of the CT. However, we do need to throw another smoke just to cover this area. That's why you need to throw 2 smokes at the same time. After you throw this smoke, you also need to throw this smoke where you stand up, you're uncrouched, and you look at this dot and then just simply left click throw. This smoke lands in the middle of CT, and it was the original smoke in CSGO. Now it's a bit different since of the smoke spread. That's why ideally you need 2 smokes to cover CT fully. After throwing these 2 smokes, then the T can also throw a flash for their teammates to peek out. He simply stands in the same corner as he threw the smokes, and then he looks at the top right corner of Xbox and just left click throws it. This flash lands manually and is pretty good even for a solo play if you want to. However, it's way better if you do it with teammates. And after you throw the flash, make sure to clear this corner and this corner at the same time, and then keep in mind you do need to check this area because CTs might boost up on this box. The second player who is peeking out needs to instantly focus towards this angle because this is the second most common angle that CTs love to stand in when they're holding mid. And keep in mind you do need to have a narrow gap because CTs might peek you after a flash if CTs throw it from window, for example. CTs can throw a simple flash for their teammates, so after the peek, they can just instantly peek out and try to kill you. That's why you do need to be hugging this edge of wall, or instead you can just play anti-flash. However, it's way better for the second player to hold the angle instead of not, and then the third player can just play anti-flash. The fourth player can just instantly focus towards flank because at that point CTs from long might have already pushed you, or you can also watch short just in case so your teammates don't get pushed from behind. And then once all of your teammates entry towards the site, then the fourth player can also head in and just hold the flank for a couple of seconds, and then he can rather position himself towards the edge like so and wait for their teammates as long as they entry the site, or he can also go with them. The first, second, and third players definitely need to clear this angle and then quickly focus towards the window. After they clear that, they can also check double door and this angle at the same time. Keep in mind that one of you needs to constantly hold window while the other one is moving around, and then you just quickly run around into site, and then at that point, before your teammate's entry through double doors and window, the teammate from tunnel can rather quickly check here because CTs love to hide behind this box because they expect everyone to be pushing from middle and no one from tunnel, and you can catch people off guard like that. You can just stand close to this pillar made of brick and then throw the flash, aiming at the top of the arc, and while running until you reach this box, you just simply left click throw. This is a quick pop out flash if you want to do it, or instead you can also throw this flash if you aim at the second wall, not the first one but more to the right, and then while you run until you reach this area of the shadow, then you can quickly run and just throw the flash like so. This flash doesn't blind you, and it is a good flash if CTs are not expecting you for pushing tunnel. After this flash, Ts can also throw a quick flash against this window, however they do need to make sure that the smokes don't fade quickly enough and that someone is watching flank. That's why, as I mentioned previously, the fourth player needs to rather stay here, or before the smokes fade out, he needs to shift to a position like so. He can stand here and then he can manually watch double doors and CT at the same time. He can also position himself a bit deeper if he crouches like so. However, he might get spotted, so make sure you don't stand too open and you stand hugging the wall really closely. A huge mistake I see people do in these rounds is position themselves against this car. This is a huge mistake because your feet might be visible for CTs who are standing in this corner. If they spot you, they can instantly call for their teammates, and then you will definitely be dead because, as you see, your legs are easily visible through these gaps of the tires. That's why instead stand in this position or in this position or in this edge close to double door. Before entering the B site, the players from mid can also throw a manual flash over this wall. They can throw it against the window as well and then quickly peek out. The Ts should peek out this area pretty much at the same time as the player from tunnel shifts or rather pushes towards him. He needs to clear this area first because that's the priority, and he needs to watch out for sniper's nest because CTs might position themselves in this corner just so they can focus on one angle before going to the next one. After clearing both of these areas, you can quickly focus towards site, and then you can move towards car because at this point you don't even need to check site because your teammates who are going from middle are definitely gonna spot enemies if they stand here. However, keep in mind that there is another way of splitting the players between going tunnel and going B side. Instead of going 2-1, that 2 go towards lower tunnel and 1 stays in tunnel, you can also split up in the opposite way. 2 of the players can go towards B while only 1 player shifts towards double doors. That way you have more firepower towards tunnel, so you are more prepared if someone decides to push tunnel, and you are pushing from tunnel towards site way safer because you have some support against your teammate. However, keep in mind that way it becomes a bit more difficult to go towards middle because two of you need to push towards side and then only one of you can be holding flank. That's why in my opinion it's way better to go 4 mid instead of 3 because you have more firepower towards middle, and since middle is the main part where CTs rotate through A side towards B side and the other way opposite, I suggest going 4 middle instead. Thank you everyone for watching the video. This was how to do mid to B executions on Dust 2 as a T in CS2. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.